For those of you joining us live, we will have a Q&A session at the very end of this webinar. If you have questions as we go, please enter them into the Q&A section. All right, thank you all very much. For those of you that I haven't met, my name is Matt Bain. I am the Director of Solutions Architecture at JB&A. Really happy to be here with you. You know, the world's changed quite a bit, and video is in a unique position to help things get better. So that's what we're going to focus on today, but let's set the stage first. As people return to work all around the globe, what is that work actually going to look like? Are office buildings going to be the same? Are we going to have conference rooms still where we can pack people into a conference room to do a small conference or a brainstorming session? Are we still going to have large rooms filled with cubicles? Or are we going to a completely online work scenario? Or maybe it's a mix. You know, the jury's still out. We don't know exactly for sure, and things are going to be different for each company. But one thing is certain, when we go to an online work scenario, it's really hard to keep people engaged. The way to keep your viewers engaged is to create great looking content, and that's something JB&A knows a lot about. We work with content creators and media companies every day, but how do we take their tool set and adapt it for use in the corporate world to enable workers to work remotely, or even to take those unused huddle spaces and turn them into a video communication suite? That's why we've created the Streamed Easy bundles. While most businesses have made some sort of adjustment to the amount of people that they allow on site or how people work, whether they're remote or in-office workers, you know, one thing's for certain, things are probably going to change, either in the next few months or in the next few years. So how do we make sure that businesses of all types are really prepared to make sure that they can keep their employees, their customers, and their partners informed? When building these bundles, we really had two main objectives. They need to be easy to use, and they need to create engaging content. I think we've accomplished that and more. We created several bundle options to address all of the most common customer requests. Whether your company uses GoToMeeting, Microsoft Teams, Skype, or any other video conferencing software, we can help you take your meetings to the next level. Streamed Easy can turn your mundane meetings into something special. Beyond just the technology though, we've also done the integration and the testing in-house to ensure all of our deployments are as quick and easy as possible. To create an engaging video platform, we need to start with the ability to create great looking content. And that really starts with cameras. We have bundles that include everything from document cameras to BTZs to box cameras, all the way up to broadcast cameras for larger events. Switching allows for multiple sources to be used, like multiple cameras, computers, document cameras, digital whiteboards, and even more. Processing is included in each bundle, and that gives the ability to not only utilize all of the feeds and sources, but also process them for different delivery methods, and an integration into other applications like Zoom and Google. Multi-streaming capabilities to reach people on whatever device they choose. Recording to make your content available later as on-demand content. We even include stunning displays. I think most importantly though, we include setup and training options to make it a fast and easy deployment. Now I'd like to give you a real-world scenario. One of the most common requests that we get is how do we take our Zoom meetings and make them better or make them more engaging? So that's what I'm going to do. In my example today, I'm going to basically be teaching a training class to employees. But this can be used in many different ways, whether it is a conference call or a training event or even just customer education. Let's get started. All I have to do is start my Zoom session like normal, and you will see once you select your camera settings, I can select any of the multiple sources that I have available to me. In this case, the Streamed Easy bundle is coming into my system via NDI, so I am going to select NDI video. That's it. I'm ready to go. I'm ready for my students. But I definitely want to take you through a few more of the features and how you actually operate the system. I'm going to pull the curtain back a little bit and show you how easy it is to utilize the Streamed Easy bundles. What you're looking at is the actual back end of the control system. Now, this can look complicated at first glance, but what's really important to know is that once this gets set up, the instructor actually doesn't ever have to get in here unless they want to do something special. We can set up all the customizations, so it's really just a push button. On my desk, I have 4 buttons. I just push those to change my sources. On the right-hand side of your screen, where you see just the large image of me and a green screen, that's coming from a PTZ camera that's sitting on my desk. I also have an iPhone camera that's pointed at my whiteboard that you can see. I have a computer source that's coming in. That's where you see the picture of Thomas Edison. And I also have a document camera sitting on my desk. I can do a little wave for you right there. That is pointed at my record player. At the push of a button, I can change which source is being displayed to my audience. Now, it doesn't just have to be a full screen video like this. I can also do picture-in-pictures, or I can do side-by-sides. This makes it really easy to make interesting content. Now, you'll also notice that I have a yellow background on here. I can change my background color. I can add graphics like this if I have particular messages that I want to display to my students, or I could change the background color. It's really easy to utilize this, especially because I don't ever have to get into this interface. We have different ways that we can put these 4 buttons on your desk. Makes it incredibly easy just to hit the button and go. If you want to get more interesting with your content, we can even add green screen functionality that I'll show you in just a minute, which is the reason why I have that green screen behind me. As I mentioned before, creating great content starts with having great cameras. Our bundles include cameras of all types, whether you want a document camera to capture something physical like a document or even a product, or PTZ cameras so you can move your camera's pan, your tilt, or your zoom to get that perfect image, or you want a box camera to permanently install for a wide shot or for other use cases, or if you even want to step up to a broadcast quality camera. The JB&A bundles include everything that you need. Once you have cameras, how do you select which cameras to actually show? That's the job of the video switcher. The Streamed Easy bundle includes a 4 simultaneous channel switcher with titles, graphic overlays, picture-in-picture functionality, backgrounds, and more. You can even bring in pre-recorded videos and other content into your class. If you need even more, we can scale to larger switchers that will offer more functionality and flexibility. The switcher also acts as an audio and video processor. It allows you to utilize sources of all types. NDI sources so you can easily use an IP network, local HDMI sources, RTSP streams, and multiple channels of audio. This provides you seamless mixing and switching. Recording your content is a big deal. It allows you to post meetings as on-demand assets for people to view at a later date and time. It also enables you to reuse your content for future meetings or programs. Streamed Easy takes it further with 5 total channels of record. This means your video sources can be recorded independently, giving you more options to reutilize your materials. It can even be scheduled and integrated into your calendars for an even easier workflow. We can even include stunning 98-inch LCD 4K panels. This can help bridge the gap between what an audience sees in-room and what they see online, giving you a very harmonious experience. One of the most difficult things for corporations to cope with in a video communication strategy is reaching their audience. Their audience can change dramatically, and normally there's multiple different audiences that a business needs to reach, whether it's employees internally or external partners or even customers. So how do you put together a strategy that can actually reach all of your audience wherever they are, not just today, but where they could be in the future? That's where Multistream capability comes in handy. It allows you to send your content to multiple locations at the same time. This means no matter where your audience is, you can reach them with the content that you need to get in front of them. Before we see a meeting in session, there's a few things that I want you to take note of while you're watching. The first thing is, in my instance, I have many sources coming in. I have a PTZ camera, a document camera, an iPhone camera, and a computer. These sources in real-world scenarios could be very different. If you're in a company that needs to show people a product, you might have a camera that's trained on a product with a close-up shot. You might actually have a digital whiteboard in a conference room that you need to convey to a remote audience. Or you could have any number of different cameras and sources to bring in to actually engage your audience with the material that you need them to see. You're about to see a meeting with my own company where I'm going to be instructing them on music history. It's going to be held via Zoom, and I want you to pay attention to how this meeting actually looks. Hi everyone, thank you for joining class today. I appreciate your attendance as always. We are starting a new chapter today, chapter 3. We're going to have our first test on it on Friday, and we're talking about one of my favorite subjects, and that is the phonograph. The phonograph, which most of you know as a turntable or a record player, is a really important invention in human history because it really was the first time that we could make music portable and we could take recordings from one place to another. And to go a little bit deeper, I will bring this up where you can see a picture of the inventor there on the left-hand side. Most of the pictures that you see of this guy are when he's a bit older, but this is one of his earlier inventions. That's Thomas Edison. And he's sitting there with his first invention of the phonograph, or the first iteration of his invention. As you can see, it looks a little bit different than the turntable that you see on the other side of your screen, a modern turntable. Thomas Edison's invention was actually created on cylinders instead of discs that we know today. His cylinders were made out of wax, but the process of the recording was pretty much identical. Grooves were created on the surface of the record, as you can see here. As I move that record player, the needle or the stylus will track those grooves and it vibrates. Those vibrations are what create the sound that we know today. So there's going to be a few things on this test that you need to know. To show you what those things are, I'm going to bring up my whiteboard. Again, make sure that you're writing notes today. Make sure that you're paying attention. And chapter 3, as we talked about. All right, so today when we're doing our lesson about Thomas Edison, there's a few things that I want to make sure that you keep track of because they're going to be on your test. The first thing, I want to make sure that you know exactly what phonograph means, and that's a Latin word, means sound writing. Please make sure you commit that to memory. Also, I want to know some important dates, like 1877, when Thomas Edison actually first invented the phonograph. And, of course, you need to know the inventor. There's going to be a few more things on the test, so make sure that you're paying attention. But these start items are definitely going to be important for you. All right, so those are the very important things. As you saw, test is going to be Friday. Make sure that you are following along in your book. What you just saw is just one example of what your meetings, your conferences, your trainings can look like with a Streamed Easy bundle. We can take your video conferencing systems and needs and really elevate that content to make it engaging, to make sure that your audience is paying attention and taking in all of the information that you're presenting. Having great technology means nothing if it isn't properly set up and if the users don't actually know how to use it. This is why we've included 1 hour of free remote setup and training. Additional training is also available. We want to make sure that you get up and running as smoothly and easily as possible. I've given you an overview today of the Streamed Easy bundle. If you need more functionality, it definitely comes with a lot more that I couldn't show you today. We also have plenty of upgrade options, so if you need more from your system, like green screens or virtual sets, we can do that as well. Really, whatever you need to do with your content, JB&A can help you. That brings us to the end of today's presentation. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. If you'd like to discuss your particular needs or have any further questions, feel free to reach out to the sales team at sales@jbna.com. You can also check out the streamedeasy.com website for all of the bundle packages and more information.